That sounded right.
Alright. So everything's going, everything's good.
Yep.
Looks
So
like
hey,
it.
yeah, this is I guess, you want me to just say it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Alright.
can start us off.
Yeah, so we are an abridged Anuad. We are a podcast that looks at various elements of Elder Scrolls lore, and with us are two longtime Elder Scrolls fans, and it's also a third person who knows about fuck all but is interested in learning more about it.
You know nothing.
So
That's
yeah,
me.
that's Pixel.
Hi, I'm Pixel.
I'm Scorpio, and with me is Laudine.
Hello.
So how we do these is I'm gonna start with a quote that I've gotten from the notes here, and Pixel's gonna try and guess as to what the topic may be about, and then we will go from there.
All right, hit me.
Okay, so this one is an excerpt from an in-universe book that's collected adventures of an ancient explorer, and this passage reads. In the dim torchlight, Matthias could just barely make out the grotesque creature's form. This was no plasm, though it glistened with disgusting wetness. It was some kind of giant toad with a rotund belly and a squished slug-like face. The eyes were the worst of all, and in them Matthias saw forbidden knowledge and boundless horrors. He steeled himself as the creature's throat bulged. Forbidden knowledge was why he came to this decrepit place, after all.
Are those the like slug slavers I've heard about at some point that like are in
Yeah?
none of the modern games? So I've never actually seen one, but like I heard they exist somewhere in like the marsh or something.
You
yeah.
are correct on two accounts.
Yeah.
We are talking about the Slodes today.
I don't know a whole lot about the Slodes, but then again, there's not a lot of information about them that I can find
There's not a lot
easily.
about them, but at the same time, the times we do get to hear about them is pretty wild. That was an excerpt from a book series called Lost Tales of the Famed Explorer by the character Soli Saduro, which was added in the Black Marsh expansion for Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh
I
shit.
see.
I haven't gotten to that yet.
I didn't know they are actually like added books in the Elder Scrolls Online. I figured like because it's a MMO, it wasn't like conducive to the experience. So that's a nice addition.
Oh yeah, no.
There's
There's
books you can find around the
Yeah.
entire world, in the world
yeah,
space.
lore books are like a huge part of Elder Scrolls ever since Daggerfall. Like it's very so there are just tons and tons of in-universe accounts, like non-fiction, fiction. There's a lot of different like genres of them from different perspectives too. And the in-universe books are how we can get a lot of information for the history and lore and setting that isn't explicitly shown in the games. And it's also really fun because the writer's bias is generally injected into these.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not like
Yeah.
all word of God, basically.
Now, like if you find a book in an Elder Scrolls game, when the devs are writing that book, they took into account who is writing this and use that to color the language.
Neat.
So we'll be looking at I have a couple of in universe books related to the Slodes or that mention the Slodes, and some of them have favorable opinions, some of them don't. Most of them don't. Not a lot of people like the Slodes.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's not a whole lot to like about them. They're
Yeah, like if there's a single race in like Tamriel that's like actually evil, that's not like a Daedra or whatever, it's probably the Slodes are the closest to that.
Damn.
Yeah, they're essentially all necromancers, to my knowledge.
Yeah, Slode culture is very focused on necromancy.
Although they're also skilled in mysticism because they like to teleport around.
Mm-hmm.
But like, didn't we establish last episode, episode 1, that necromancy wasn't all bad?
Yeah, necromancy isn't all bad, but the way the Slodes do it is like completely unethical, completely terrible.
Damn.
It's a common the Red Guards have a practice, especially the ones on the coasts, have a practice of entombing their dead on like catacombs on islands offshore, and it's a common thing for Slodes to, at a later point, raid these catacombs for corpses to use.
That's fucked up on so many levels.
Yep.
The Slodes are fucked up.
What did they use the corpses for? Like did they like just raise skeletons and stuff?
Yeah. They'll raise anything they need, and they'll use enslaved corpses for just about anything they would need a servant for.
Okay, yeah, this is about as fucked up as it sounds. That's cool.
Slodes are also fond of disease and like experimenting with diseases and concocting new ones.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's a thing they do as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Thrasian plague in a little bit.
Yeah. Spoiler, they were behind that.
Yeah, I mean, it's named after their home region of Thras, which is also pretty wild in and of itself.
Oh yeah?
Kind of never put those two things together.
God. Bro, the Thrasian plague is from Thras.
Bro, what?
I'll just put a artwork of a Slode for reference there, so you can get a nice good image of one.
Yeah, I think I've seen those before, like way back when, like when Oblivion was coming out.
Yeah, there's been a lot of concept stuff about Slodes too, especially around Morrowind, because I think at one point they were pondering whether to include them.
They appeared in Elder Scrolls Red Guard.
Yeah, the only like actual like in-game appearances outside of mods is the main villain of Red Guard is a Slode wizard named Ngasta. And then in ESO, Slodes are rather prominent in all the like Somerset and Ocean areas. And a lot of the books, a lot of the like more first-hand accounts that are like focused on Slodes themselves were written for ESO.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Slode stuff was very sparse until the Somerset expansion for Elder Scrolls Online. After which we get a lot more books about them, and we actually get to like encounter Slodes.
So weird question, but like, how come we know stuff about Slodes if they don't actually appear in any of the mainstream, like, mainline games?
Books and first-hand accounts.
Yeah. Lore books are very central to Elder Scrolls, or at least they're very important to, like, learning about the history.
Yeah, there's a lot of books. Like, a lot of books. Some of them are just lore books, but something I really like that Elder Scrolls does is all the like books that you find that increase your skills by 1 point are also like actual books that can be read that are related to that skill.
Not very long books, and some of them are just excerpts. But
yeah, some of them are excerpts. I mean, the books are pretty short because it's like you're reading them in a little book a little book UI in the game. So, like, if you were to like paste them onto like a web page, they would be quite short, but they feel just long enough to like feel like a good read in the games. And if they were too long, it would probably detract a lot from like the gameplay, I would say.
Yeah,
because you don't want to like find a book and be like, oh, what's this, and then stop playing your Elder Scrolls game for like 30 minutes to read a novel.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. When I played Oblivion just a bit, and when I played Skyrim to the end, I don't think I read any of the books. Like, there was the porn book, like, haha, that's a funny book, but like I barely read that to begin with. That was the Lusty Argonian Maid.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that book, and that's the only book that like left an impression on me because, haha, it's porn.
It's not even. It's just like.
Yeah, it's not even porn. It's a script for a play.
It's a
that's like kind of lewd.
Kind of innuendos, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like aha. It's just like people. It's like how people would talk in a porno, basically. Like just just the blood boundaries all the time.
Yeah, man. Lusty Argonian Maid is like a huge meme, but like, I feel like half of the joke is lost without the context of its author.
Oh.
Because it was introduced in Morrowind, and the author is Crassus Curio, who is a Hlalu counselor in Morrowind, and you can meet him and have to like do stuff for him. And they kept it because funny, haha.
Yeah.
It feels a little weird to like see it everywhere now. Because like it's like a one-off gag that's secondary to the character.
But it just kind of gained a sort of status.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right, we're supposed to be talking about slugs.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right.
Sloats.
We're not supposed to be talking about maids.
We'll get to Argonians, and we'll get to Morrowind's political structures at a later time, I think.
Awesome.
So, as I had mentioned before, they come from a region called THRAS, or formerly the Coral Kingdoms of THRAS, which are a collection of small islands and atolls southwest of mainland Tamriel, kind of like directly west of Somerset Isles.
Okay, Somerset is where the Bretons are from, right?
No, the Bretons are from High Rock. Somerset is where the High Elves are from.
High Elves, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I for some reason I thought it was the other way around.
The Bretons are from High Rock, and the High Elves are from...
Yeah. So the Coral Kingdoms of Thras are notable because they're kind of like in a state of flux. Because at different points when people have like actually gone near them or visited them for whatever reason, they've seen the islands to be in either different arrangements or different sizes or different numbers of them.
Oh, that's cool.
It's believed that the islands are constantly like shifting and like going above or below the oceans as the slodes need them.
Oh, that's really cool. I love that like idea that the island's shape and size is controlled by the people on them or like around them.
Yeah.
Are slodes amphibian?
Yeah, they're like their body plan is very sluggy and they live largely in the water.
And they're very sluggy and they go through a metamorphosis from birth.
What was that?
Their body is very sluggy and they go through a metamorphosis from birth.
Yeah, slodes lay eggs, and the things that hatch from those eggs are little like tadpole creatures called polywoggles, which will eventually metamorphose into an adult slode over the course of life.
Okay. Do we know what polywoggles look like?
I don't think we see them exactly.
Aw. They sound like funny little guys.
No, they're just little dudes.
I imagine they're like little tadpoles with funny faces, like the slodes have.
Yeah, just like they got little jowls.
Yeah, the slodes have no attachment to their offspring, however.
Yeah, they just do not care.
In fact, there is a material called slode soap, which is this like waxy like bar of soap that's made from polywoggles and adolescent slodes before they've acquired sentience.
Okay, that is kind of fucked up. What did they use that for?
So slode soap is well, obviously it can be used as soap, and it's noted to have like restorative properties, especially for like the joints.
Ah.
Like at one point in Morrowind, in the House Telvanni quest lines, you are instructed to go get a few portions of slowed soap from Master Neloth so he can deal with his aching joints.
Man, we lined up a selection of topics today.
God, yeah.
Evil man backstab, and then a literal civilization of child murderers.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I do like I'm not gonna like lie, I do like the idea that there's a race that is basically vampires, but they're not sexy.
Unsexy vampires.
God. We'll get to the sexy vampires later.
Mm-hmm. I do not doubt it.
And depending on your opinions, 2 kinds of sexy vampires.
Okay, wow. But let's keep it to the slopes for now.
Yeah, well, we can discuss Dagothar's rippling abdominals later.
So, if Slodes don't really care about their offspring, why are there more Slodes?
Well...
Good question.
A little bit of that, but I feel like it's... Slodes don't care about their offspring, but there's also so many that they end up just surviving to maturity anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very gross.
Like Slodes are like they're very salamandery, so they probably lay like a few dozen eggs.
Mm-hmm.
If a Slode in need of like polywoggle material to like make Slode soap or what have you sees like a couple of stray ones, just like, oh, okay, I'll catch these. Like they especially like I imagine they're especially like callous towards polywoggles that were not hatched of their own.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that do manage to make it to maturity end up becoming the sort of like ruthless, self-absorbed wizards that most of the Slodes are.
Mm-hmm. So that leads me to ask: Is there such a thing as Slode society, or is it just like a bunch of Slodes acting selfishly and not like interacting with each other a lot?
There is Slode society. And it's very so the Slode society and Slode like psychology is very different from anything else in Tamriel. Like they take things very slowly. They're very cautious people. They consider acting rashly or like acting quickly to be a fool's errand. And like all of their like old stories and old tales or plays or whatever, the heroes are generally people who are very like calm and rational and take things very slowly and plan out things for a long time and then eventually are successful, while all the villains in Slode stories are people who act quickly and suffer for it.
That's interesting. I like that. I like that because I assume they're physically not very fast to begin with, right?
Yeah, Slodes on land can basically just kind of waddle at best, and in the water they have a very just lazy sort of swimming.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really like run around much either. They tend to like if they need to do something, if a Slode goes themselves somewhere to do something, chances are it's really important that it needs to get done instead of sending a corpse minion.
Yeah.
Here's a fun little tidbit from Pocket Guide to the Empire, 1st edition. The Slode language has no word for adventure, and the closest equivalent more accurately means tragic disaster.
God,
they're
like evil hobbits.
Relatable though.
God, yeah, they're like evil hobbits if the hobbits were like 6 feet tall and weighed 400 pounds.
Incredibly evil hobbits that have crippling anxiety at all times.
Yeah, it's like they're like the opposite of hobbits, I guess, more likely.
They're supposed to be very like quick thinkers, but they also overthink a lot.
Yeah.
So they consider every single possibility.
Yeah, Slodes are just like a race of people that are like so make no mistake, Slodes are very intelligent and like deviously so. And they are quick thinkers and they are like prodigal sorcerers, but they are also very paranoid and tend to overthink everything and will only act after they've like planned out every possible course of action.
Mm-hmm. So wait, are sloths long-lived or are they like medium-lived or short-lived?
Sloths are probably as long-lived as they want to be.
Oh,
considering
wow.
they're masters of necromancy and they can just they could probably just prolong their lifespan with necromantic magic.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess if you can just be a lich, yeah, there's no like such thing as lifespan. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like a notable sloth and one of the only named sloths we encounter before ESO's expansions is Ngasta. That's N''Gasta,
Mm-hmm.
who was the villain of Redguard, and he was a servant of the Daedric Prince Clavicus Vile, but servant in not like a religious worshipper, but more just like Clavicus Vile had services and powers that he wanted. Because the Sloths have no sort of like religion or like worship, but they will regularly like strike deals with Daedra to like gain more power.
Yeah,
We'll
that
talk about
tracks.
the Daedra later.
Yeah.
They're bad guys.
Yeah, I played Skyrim. I know sort of what a Daedra is. They're like demon people.
Effectively, Daedra are like
essentially, yeah.
they're effectively the demons of the Elder Scrolls setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the one thing I remember from Daedra is the Wabbajack, and just because it's got a funny name.
Yeah, the Wabbajack is one of several Daedric artifacts. The Daedric princes like to have fancy toys they give to their favorite mortals for a short time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can do quests and get them, but you usually have to do bad things to get it, depending on which one.
Yeah.
Yeah, although if I recall correctly, the Wabbajack you get just from like this Daedric prince that I don't remember the name of, whose deal is just like he likes chaos and madness, so you just get it from him because that's funny. I'm gonna give this world like the Wabbajack.
Yeah, that's Sheogorath, who's formerly known as the Prince of Madness. Though in Skyrim, his characterization is a little watered down and flanderized, and he's changed from how he was in the previous games.
I see.
Yeah.
He became less of like a menacing figure and more just like comic relief cheese man.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely what I thought he was, a comic relief cheese man.
Yeah, Sheogorath is. Well, we'll talk about him later. We can do an entire mini series on all the princes later.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but like to give you an idea of how Slodes might operate, like Ngasta, like the sister of Cyrus, the main like player character in Redguard, his sister visited Ngasta, and was like, "Yo, this prince from my homeland in Hammerfell, he has been like trapped in this gem, and I know that you of all people probably know how to deal with this kind of weird like dark magic bullshit." And Ngasta agreed. However, he agreed in exchange that she would give him her soul as payment.
Yep.
And
then he wrote a book.
Except Ngasta fucking lied, and after the payment was given, he didn't do anything, and he kept both the souls for himself.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
He just, from like a slowed perspective, perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean, why would he do something for someone who isn't like a person with a body anymore, right?
Yeah. He's just like, damn, now I got two funny gems.
Oh yeah. We'll have to talk about soul gems later.
Yeah, soul gems and soul trapping and enchanting in general is a wild ride. But yeah, Ngasta wrote a book, like a treat, like his dissertation on necromancy, basically, and it's called Ngasta Kvata Kvakis.
Ooh, what does that mean?
And
each of those are one-word sentences ending in an exclamation point.
It is fun and interesting because it's a treatise on necromancy, written in the slowed language, and it's the only example of slowed writing we have.
Oh.
Just presented completely untranslated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you'll often find a copy of this book in the possession of necromancers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another fun thing about the books in Elder Scrolls, is if you go to someone's, like, place and you find books in there, you can learn about what kind of person they are just by the books they have.
Mm-hmm. So, is this slowed language, like, translated by non-slowed people?
I do not know, and I imagine there's not, like, a great hurry or need to like, teach slowed to other people.
So...
I mean, I'm pretty sure the necromancers who have it know.
Yeah, I would imagine that, of all people, necromancers probably, like, learn slowed as a second or third language.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since, arguably some of the best texts on necromancy have been written by sloweds.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wonder now, do if there's like people who do like student exchanges like between sloweds and like other necromancers. Like you do a semester
maybe.
in the Coral Kingdom, and they bring and they
Yeah.
send one into like in like Morrowind or something.
The Cult of Worms does an exchange program with the other Cult of Worms.
Yeah, the closest thing to, like, a god that's venerated by the sloweds is a guy called Manny Marco, who was a really prolific necromancer who basically, like, transcended his mortal form.
Neat.
And he's referred to as, like, the King of Worms and other such titles. So if anyone would like do some kind of cultural exchange with the sloweds, it'd probably be a worm cultist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's really neat. I gotta say, I like the idea that they made the race of evil necromancers unsexy vampires that live in the water. That's a very gutsy move.
Yeah,
Do they drink blood?
What was that, Laudine?
Do they drink blood?
No, they don't. I think pixel means vampires more in the cultural sense,
Yeah.
rather than like the modern want to drink your blood sense.
Yeah, like they're old men who kill and eat children, basically. So that's kind of vampire-like.
A fucking culture of Draculas.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sucking your blood thing was actually invented by Bram Stoker of all things.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before then, vampires were just kind of like feral, violent undead in most European cultures.
Damn.
They just bit you.
They just like bit you and ate flesh and shit. Yeah.
They didn't drink, they just ate. They were just like rabid.
But yeah, going back to the Slowds, again with their culture and like their shady dealings, they don't really care about things like laws or friendships or loyalty or like religious practices. Basically, if anything will further their own goals, they will do it. And if it was to their benefit to pretend to be someone's friend, they will do it. And Slowds don't really have like emotional responses to much of anything, but when dealing with non-slowed races, they will like pretend to have emotions in response to things.
Okay, so for some reason, like that gives me the idea that they're kind of like the Elcor from Mass Effect. Like they just like prefix all of their like statements with like the emotion they're pretending to feel.
It's more like they're just like acting, like they're pretending.
They'll do like a very exaggerated like imitation of someone like sobbing or like feeling mad or like clapping in delight.
Okay, I see.
And it's been described as pretty uncanny by just about anyone who's like witness to it.
I'll bet.
Basically, the Slowds are like, I don't know what this is, but I know that you do it in response to this stimulus, so I will mimic it.
They just do the emotion, but it's at like a maximum. It's like an emote.
Yeah.
Like you type cry in like World of Warcraft.
God, yeah. Yeah.
/cry.
Going on to more about them, especially like the relations with other stuff. So yeah, after the event, so like as I mentioned with Manny Marco, after the events of Daggerfall, where he like transcended and became more of a spiritual godlike being, they sort of not really worshipped, but like they respect him and revere him as a very like skilled and powerful dark magic magician.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll like attempt to get into contact with him the same way one might get into contact with their deities.
Or Elon Musk.
Yeah, just go on Twitter.
The Sloads go on Twitter and tweet at Manny Marco for like praising him for his latest baby soul devouring contraption.
Tweet at King of Worms.
What was that?
69.
God. They tweet at the real Manny Marco.
Real Manny Marco.
Yeah, Manny Marco, like at Manny Marco was taken, so you had to use at real Manny Marco.
At the real Manny Marco. Because real Manny Marco was taken.
God. Yeah, the Sloats have pretty much had more or less the same design, but there's also another group that's like, they're called the Sea Sloats because they live more out in open ocean areas, and those are the ones that you mostly deal with in Elder Scrolls Online.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an image here of a render of the Elder Scrolls Online Sloats, and it's a pretty fun like a pretty fun alternate look for Sloats that keeps all like the core stuff intact. Nice.
Oh wow, that face is something.
It's a little yonic.
Let's see if the viewers will ever see this. Do you know how to? Are you just gonna link the images in the description, or?
Yeah, I don't really got like a video editing software-y thing yet.
Yeah.
But
we're probably just gonna have to pick the first image and use that.
God, yeah. Although, so like we said before in the Yeager Tharn episode, the UES, the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages, is a really good like repository of all Elder Scrolls stuff. And the images I'm getting are ones that they also have uploaded there. So you could probably easily find a lot of these by just searching Sload. But to describe it, it's like... So the regular Sloads are these sort of big, flabby, hunched, like slugmen with sort of hanging jowls and like exposed teeth and gums. The Sea Sload doesn't have the exposed like mouth parts. Its jowls kind of more like meet as a crease over where the mouth would be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got like this sort of almost nudibranchi kind of like antenna structure.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I think their face...
they're sort of like horns.
Their face looks kind of like a horned howl, but like without a beak.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, kind of. The jowls look more like armor plating in the ESO version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea with the ESO one is to draw more on like ocean slugs, since it is like a sea slug.
Yeah.
But but like the tail and the back still have that like land slug kind of texture to them if you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think I remember seeing like an animation or like a trailer with one of these guys just kind of jumping around.
Mm-hmm.
Is that DLC out yet?
Yeah, I think every like region of Tamriel is out, and the most recent expansion that ESO is doing is to go to one of the often overlooked like sets of islands west of Tamriel, because like there's the Coral Kingdom of Kingdoms of THRAS, but there's also a bunch of other little islands, like High Isle, Stros Mackay, all them like to the west of High Rock.
You do actually go to Stros Mackay in online.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, they're adding more of those little islands in the latest expansion, which is neat.
That's nice.
That's one thing I do appreciate. I'm not really a fan of MMOs for like gameplay stuff and all that, but I really do appreciate that ESO is like taking the time to just try and explore everything and like try and do right by the setting.
I'm sort of alright with MMOs, but I can never really stick with them enough.
Yeah, I can't. It's something about them. I just can't get into them.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't really feel as immersive for me.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I get that. I get that. It feels less like like the typical Elder Scrolls game. It's like, this is your story, TM.
Mm-hmm. And then MMOs are like you just have like a bunch of people running around and like making explosions happen everywhere.
God, yeah.
And they have their like silly name over their head all the time that you have to go into your options and disable.
I've noticed that MMOs are better about that these days, though, because they have like instance stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you'll have the like town area and everyone's running around, and you got Lady Killer 69 with his nameplate, and then like you go into a dungeon, it's just you and like 4 or 5 buddies.
And then you like slam face first into a loading screen.
God. Sloads.
Sloads.
Yeah, Sloads. So, I mentioned earlier, like, and that's kind of how we kind of got into this tangent. ESO's Somerset expansion brought us a bunch of, like, books and stuff about Sloads. So we've got stuff.
Yeah.
There's, so, like, there are Altmer accounts, Altmer being the High Elves, of the Sloads, based on recovered journals and data. There's Altmer inquiries onto whether the sea Sloads are a threat. And then there's also a pirate captain's journal that you can uncover that details him and his crew encountering a Sload wizard.
Damn.
I'll go over these briefly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe we can wrap it up with that.
Yeah. So this one is just called the Night Runner Captain's Journal. I'm guessing Night Runner is the like pirate group. I haven't played ESO. So I'll just read the first bit here and then gloss over the rest. The sea Sload that calls itself Kagarza, what a disgusting creature. When it first appeared in our caves, I sent a group of the Night Runner's best raiders to drive it away. Then the unthinkable happened. The big slug slaughtered them. But that wasn't enough to satisfy the creature. It's some sort of necromancer. It raised my own raiders and turned them against me. Then the next entry. 2 more raiding parties fell to the sea Sload and its undead horde. Worse, now they've become part of that undead horde. I need to rethink this untenable situation. I made the sea Sload an offer, and to my surprise, the creature accepted it. We can continue to use the cove for our smuggling endeavors. In exchange, I just need to provide captives for Kagarza to use for its necromantic experiments. Distasteful, certainly, but a deal such as this is better than the alternative. And then they go on to talk about the different people they had captured. And then an Altmer requests to talk to the pirates, as like she claims to represent the sea Sload Kagarza, who's apparently part of some big cabal. And so the Altmer liaison is just like offering to the pirate captain to submit to Kagarza and work with her like in an official capacity. However, while the pirate captain's like, sure, I'll work with you, on the side he learned that they were trying to like that the circle of Sloads that Kagarza is part of were trying to develop a plan to sink Somerset Isle under the waves.
Oh, that's bad.
And he pretty much like when no one else is looking, turns tail and sends letters to Somerset's like government.
And that's good. Did that work?
Oh, we don't know. The last entry in the journal mentions that he's going to just pretend to deliberate on the offer, and he wonders if it's too late to set sail for Black Marsh. So yeah, we can see here an example of like Sloads using minions and liaisons to deal with things.
Yeah.
There's another one that's more of a scholarly like research sort of book. By a character called Talinger the Artificer, who's also a high elf, and he has discovered accounts about attempts to send diplomats to THRAS by the Maormer, or the Sea Elves, which are another group we can talk about later.
Oh, they're Sea Elves?
Yeah, there's a bunch of races that you don't get to like play as or really see much in the main games.
Are they like amphibians, or are they just like at sea?
I mean, they have blue skin, and they can commune with sea creatures and spend a long time underwater.
Damn.
They're like fish folk.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, the highly damaged notes from a attempted diplomatic excursion by the Sea Elves to the Slodes. This Altmer guy was just like, damn, fuck, these things are a big threat. Because, well, he found... So this is written based on an account in the First Era, which is long-ass time ago. And the book, A Loathsome Civilization, basically goes into Tellinger, recounting the spark notes on the Slodes. You know, they like necromancy. They use necromantic minions. They're big and stinky and evil. But then they also go into mention elaborate sacrificial rituals, especially to further pacts with Daedra. And they also spend years grooming individuals to participate in reenactments of the deeds of Slode mythological heroes.
Wait, what?
They basically take individuals, living or dead, and force them to act in plays.
Okay, so it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna pretend to be like Hercules or whatever. Like they get some like Breton guy, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna be Hercules in this play that we're making. Is that it, or is it like more like taking someone and raising them from the dead and then using them in a play?
Both.
Okay, good. So,
but also you actually stab the guy.
Yeah, also you actually stab the guy, and everyone who dies in the play is applied to like what's called a desiccation crystal. And those are used for some sort of evil magic. It's unclear. Tellinger doesn't have all the details.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this is so extra. I love it.
Yeah.
They are unsexy vampires, but they are definitely vampires.
Yeah.
I like how the sea slowed version just has like his hands on his tummy.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got better arms to hold the tummy.
Like a old timey like businessman.
I imagine Slodes do that Jabba the Hutt belly laugh, but they grab their belly while they're doing it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Solo.
Oh my god, they're just essentially the Hutt.
Yeah, it's a similar
but they have
vibe.
legs.
Yeah, no, I see it.
They got legs.
They got a very similar vibe to Hutts from Star Wars, yeah. So the end of the book of the Loathsome Civilization book also has Tellinger like expressing his frustrations that there's one part of the recovered documents that's too fragmented to get really much of information about. But it describes a visit to a place called the Menagerie of Sublime Infection.
Oh, fun.
And the very little fragmentary information he was able to uncover mentions things like suppurating extrusions, blood rot, and festering myiasis.
Honestly, that tracks.
However, he was unable to discover any information about the Thracian plague, which frustrates him greatly, though he believed it's best left buried.
Yeah, it is.
I suppose it would be good to briefly touch on the Thracian plague to finish us off.
Yeah.
Maybe. We could leave that for another episode, but we can talk about it.
It's a pretty short thing, and it's directly related to the Slodes, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I got another quote for you.
Okay, quote time.
This is a quote from an Altmer named Kinlord Nympharian. Kinlord being a title. It was ever present, ever penetrating. It seeped into every person, every creature, every drop of water seeking to be quenched. The afflicted drank themselves to corpulence with each passing day until their bones cracked under their bulging flesh.
Gross.
So it makes you like basically into a slode.
Yeah, it's a horrible disease that causes you to have a Slode's physiology without the ability to support.
Yikes! That's really gnarly. I love the concept. I would hate to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was simultaneously a huge famine kind of plague, but also made you really corpulent and insatiable. And it was released by the Slodes in 2260 of the First Era,
Okay, so a long ass time ago.
Yeah, for unknown reasons. It just kind of just happened.
They just kind of.
I mean, I think we
wanted to start something. I guess.
It sounds to me like they just wanted to do like something wacky for once, and that worked.
Feeling a little wacky tonight.
I'm gonna genocide half of Tamriel as a little joke.
Funny. I'm like the Joker.
Yeah, half the population of the Iliac Bay region died from this.
Yikes.
And it also spread across the rest of Tamriel and was pretty fucking wretched for a while.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So in response to the destruction of the plague, the Redguards, the Bretons, the High Elves, the Argonians, and the Colovians of northern Cyrodiil formed what is called the All Flags Navy, where they basically just fucking kitted up and went to Thras and beat the shit out of the Slows in revenge after the plague subsided.
Damn.
God.
I mean, it was after the plague subsided, so I guess it didn't cure it, but I guess it felt better afterwards?
Yeah. Basically, they just sailed to Thras, killed every Sload in sight, and like, destroyed what islands they could, and then left.
And provided the Slows with many, many corpses.
Yeah, though... After the attack of the All Flags Navy, the Sloads never tried this shit again.
Mm-hmm.
God.
It was like, okay, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I did not know much about the Sloads before. Now I do. I think they're really cool, and they need to be in more games.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see more about the less represented races, Sloads, Maormer. All the like secondary like races in Elder Scrolls, because a lot of them are really cool.
The Sea Elves actually do show up in.
Yeah, they show up in ESO like the Sloads do.
They show up real early.
Yeah, I have to double check if ESO has like the other races, like the fucking frog guys in Black Marsh.
And the fucking Lil Mothie.
Yeah, well, no, the Lil Mothie are. Is ESO before or after they went extinct?
I think it is after.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think they went extinct during maybe the Thracian plague, or one of the plagues.
I'm trying to remember the name. It was like Knumaten or Knemeten.
Knahaten in Second Era 560.
Yeah, the Knahaten plague is different from the Thracian plague.
Knahaten flu.
Yeah, it was a type of flu.
Huh.
That the Argonians were just kind of immune to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Argonians are kind of just immune to Black Marsh diseases.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much an overview of all the Sload stuff.
Awesome. Well, that was interesting.
Also, yeah, the flu is before the events of Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the Sloads. How you feeling, Pixel?
I am feeling really annoyed that they aren't in any of the Elder Scrolls games I have. Because they're pretty cool. They're real shitty people, but you know, they're interesting in a way.
Yeah, they make for a very interesting like bad guy faction.
Yep.
Yeah. Alright, I think we can finish up recording.
Yeah.